Let's go.
Well, the cuckoo, she's the pretty bird, and she wobbles and she flies.
Let's talk about tone. How long did it take you to arrive at the combo of guitar and amp and to get the tone you really wanted?
Strat, because it's got more variation. You know, always when you go from a Gibson to a Strat, you always go, oh gee, the back pickup and all this really clicky, you know, stuff. Now they've got pickups that go everywhere. It's the difference between where I've started as to what's available now is just so incredible. Like, it's just as far as string selection. I remember trying to do the licks that some of the guys were doing on, you know, from records and stuff very early in the piece, and I couldn't bend the G string because it was too fat. And then we had to go and get a banjo string was the trick and put a thin one on. And it's amazing how things have changed.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
It's called progress, you know. There.
Yeah, it is.
When, you know.
I was very lucky not that.
Yeah.
So in a tone, and you have an idea. You hear something, go, that's for a sweet sound. I suppose you start emulating what you hear, and then you go from there, you know, and it's to do with each song that you play, whatever you've got. You want distortion, you want clean, there's a whole palette, old boy.
Yeah. So what's your current setup? You go on stage, what are you using?
I've got 2 Fender amps because I like to run stereo because I'm 3-piece, so anything that provides a security blanket is really good, and songs that have an atmosphere, so you can dial in a certain reverb or delay, and in a subtle way, not overdoing it, not surfy style, but to help you put it across and make you play better. If you're sounding good and you're loving what you're doing, you're going to play better. If you've got a rotten sound because something's going wrong, you end up, you know, stalling.
So you, Gwyn, where did you finally discover your tone?
Well, through all my heroes, I guess you tend to see who plays what, and I mean, I played Strats for years, but I'm kind of on this old Japanese guitar kick at the moment, sort of the Raikuda thing, where old Tyscos and these Australian Kenora guitars, which are real heaps of junk. But it's hard to pull the sound out of them, but when you do, it's really rewarding because they don't sound like anything else.
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah, so I'm kind of into that, and I've got a nice pedal setup. The people at Catlin Bread in America gave me a few pedals. They got the new Bell Epoch tape echo pedal, which is fantastic. It's just like an Echoplex. And these little Fender...
What's the Catlin Bread overdrive one you use?
I've got the Formula 5, which is... It kind of emulates a basement... a 57 Deluxe, a Tweed Deluxe pedal.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. Really, it's got that 6v6 output valve sort of grinding thing going on. And I use another one called a Formula 5 F6, which is like a 14 bassman. So when you've got render lamps, no matter what you're using, you can kind of get your sound.
Yeah, especially when you're travelling around and you have to, you know, just get what's given and kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You've got a better starting point with a thing like that.
But I've got some fuzzes. I've got one of the Foxrock's Octron pedals.
You're not a man without a fuzz.
Oh yes, you've got to have
You've got to chase the fuzz. Oh.
Yeah.
I actually bought a fuzz today, actually.
Did you?
Yes.
What did you buy?
A Pharaoh. It was so pretty.
Pharaoh.
Yeah. Because I like to have that. I've got a because on the album that I've got, I've done Totem. There's 2 CDs. One's got songs that are reasonable length long, and then the second one has got 3 songs on it. One's 10 minutes, and the other one's 2 of them are 14 minutes long.
Is that the Epic album?
The Epic, my Epic.
But Ben Hur.
Yeah.
That's Keith's Ben Hur.
And I've got I've got a great fuzz thing in there from what's the little Keeley
Is that
one?
the Crosstown one?
The Keeley one.
Fuzzhead.
I plugged it into
okay.
I plugged it into the yeah, and I've had it for ages, and I sent it back saying put a tone control on, mate, and it was he did, and that into the that other blue one.
Full drive.
Full drive, yeah. And got a massive fuzz tone, and and I did a soundscape kind of with Kennedy's speech before he got wiped out, because he was saying all the wrong things that the people who run the show didn't like, so they knocked him off. And Martin Luther King in it, and just had this great thing. It's called I Cried for You.
Yeah. We just lost Ross Hannaford, a great Australian guitarist.
Oh yeah, Ross.
Your thoughts on Ross's playing?
Loved his playing because he was a unique character, you know, and he had his own style. He wasn't chasing anything that everyone else was chasing. That's for sure. He loved his reggae. That's the main change that happened to him from like Daddy Cool. But I sort of haven't lived in Melbourne for a lot, you know, to gauge everything he does. But that's what I could see from where I was up north, was that all of a sudden he was like loving reggae. And I know Renee Gay is a friend of mine, and he played with her a bit, and she loves him, and it was a uniqueness, you know. You always get something special that, you know, no one's going to be doing that. His licks and stuff like that, and his approach is completely different, which his uniqueness is very hard to find these days. You know, we've got, you know, 6 strings, and we've all got the same sort of, there's same notes there, and so sometimes we tend to sort of sound a bit similar. He kind of broke away from that.
Yeah, definitely. When I was living in Melbourne, I moved out of Melbourne 20 years ago, but I used to go and see him play, and he was just so different to everybody else, and he wasn't doing much. He was just playing a few things, you know, with the reggae stuff. And
yeah, that's the complete thing about less is more.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
What can you tell us about getting a good recorded guitar sound?
Oh, that's not as easy as it sounds, eh? There's
a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors involved, and logic doesn't always work. Sound works in a funny way. You've got to have the right room. You've got to put it in the right spot. You can't. I've done things whereby we've set up the biggest amp we could find, and to sound like the smallest sound ever. It's
yeah,
like
little amps help with that.
And they put it in the corner, and so it throws it out or whatever, and then you get the right mic and you test everything and see where it is. You've got to have. It's the room. It's so many variables, and you can get them out. And you have to put too many mics, you start getting phase problems. So simplicity sometimes can be good if you can get a good sound like that. But we tried a lot of things. You know, sometimes you're uphill, you're pushing shit uphill, and you think you're not getting anywhere, and then you come down the next day and maybe something moved or someone did something. You go, wow, that was all right. I'll just not do anything. Leave it. Mm.
What have you found, Gwyn?
Well, on the last album that I recorded, it's called Radiogram. I tracked the whole session because I've got a mobile studio set up back in England, and I stuck one mic on the drum kit and then one on the guitar amp, and we just played, and then I put all the bass on afterwards and got other people to put their stuff on. And I used a $40 Behringer B1 mic on the guitar cabinet. It's a 57 Deluxe. I didn't calculate it. I just stuck it down there in front of the amp, about a foot in front, and I just hit record, and it sounds great. You know, I was really happy with that. But as you're saying, you know, you can get Neumanns, you can get big, expensive Plexi Marshalls or whatever, and you play it back and it sounds really thin. I mean, I think really you just have to know how to get the tone in the first place. Because a lot of people don't get good tone to start with, and you can't polish the turd, you know. So if you get a good, cleanish sound, and use your ears to put the mic in the right place,
There's lots of things. If you read a book about it, like, you know, you guys find the right spot by putting the headphones on, having a mic and turning it right up, and then moving the mic around and making something go, or just have the hiss of the amp or something, and they find out where the bottom end of the hiss is, and they're, oh no, that's it there, you know.
Oh right, okay. That's
I've read that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go crazy doing that.
I know.
But yeah.
With the drum kit, I got the drummer to play facing a wall, so the wall was like a foot away, and then while he was playing, I used my left ear, and I was walking around him to hear where I could hear the entire drum kit really well. So I stuck the mic there.